Well, I don't want to talk about Greenland. Let's talk about Venezuela, Russia, Ukraine, and we'll worry about Greenland in about 2 months. Let's talk about Greenland in 20 days.
On Venezuela, we talked so much about energy.
By the way, I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security.
Why is Trump interested in Greenland? Over the past days, the Trump administration has openly expressed interest in Greenland. One of the questions that you might have is, why Greenland? Many people are having doubts on the importance of Greenland considering that 80% of the country is covered by ice, with the island's main economic activity being fishing. Besides, Greenland has a very small population of only 56,000 native people. In comparison, Wyoming, which has the lowest population in the U.S., standing at 587,618 as at July 1, 2025, is 10 times bigger than Greenland. However, the administration has noted that Greenland is crucial for American security and other reasons. This video is going to give further details on why Greenland is strategic to the U.S. and whether it will be appropriate to take it over just a few days after Maduro was abducted together with his wife in Venezuela. One aspect that you must note is that the U.S. does not target any country if the efforts would not result in some gain. The administration does not labor its efforts in using American taxes in issues that do not benefit Americans. Every strategy has always been for the benefit of Americans, and many might not see it from this lens, especially when empathizing with the countries under invasion from the U.S. Just like Venezuela has vast oil resources, Greenland is also a country with abundant minerals. According to a BBC article by James Fitzgerald, valuable mineral resources have been a key focus of Trump elsewhere in the world, including in his dealings with Ukraine. A 2023 survey showed that 25 out of 34 minerals deemed critical raw materials by European Commission were found in Europe. Some of these minerals include copper, diamond, gold, graphite, iron ore, nickel, rare earth, titanium, vanadium, tungsten, and zinc.
By the way, I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security.
He went further and added that Greenland is covered by Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. Based on this, you can draw a conclusion on why Greenland is strategic for the U.S., considering that these two countries have always been perceived to be the enemies of the U.S. However, it is important to acknowledge that Greenland is strategically located between Europe and North America, and it hosts the U.S. Patuxent Space Base, which supports missile warning and missile defense operations, while its mineral wealth aligns with Washington's ambition to reduce reliance on Chinese exports. Remember that Trump initially, in 2019, wanted to purchase Greenland but was told that the island was not for sale.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio told lawmakers President Trump wants to buy Greenland. House Speaker Mike Johnson spoke about this yesterday.
I think Greenland is viewed by a lot of people as something that would be a strategic position for the U.S. I don't know how it develops from there.
He embarked on this interest once he came back to White House, and it seems that he will ensure Greenland is part of the U.S. There have already been signs of this. For example, Trump appointed a special envoy to Greenland, Jeff Landry, who has openly spoken about making the island a part of the U.S.
The Trump administration has Greenland in its sights again. Trump's newly appointed special envoy to Greenland, Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry, posted on X Sunday night saying, "It's an honor to serve you in this volunteer position to make Greenland part of the U.S." Since taking office, Trump has expressed ambitions to acquire the territory for national security purposes.
Even Vice President J.D. Vance traveled to Greenland in March and gave a speech accusing Denmark of failing to invest enough to safeguard the island.
Our message to Denmark is very simple. You have not done a good job by the people of Greenland. You have underinvested in the people of Greenland, and you have underinvested in the security architecture of this incredible, beautiful landmass filled with incredible people. That has to change. What we think is going to happen is that the Greenlanders are going to choose through self-determination to become independent of Denmark, and then we're going to have conversations with the people of Greenland from there.
According to his speech, we can't just bury our head in the sand, or, in Greenland, bury our head in the snow, and pretend that the Chinese are not interested in this very large landmass. He added that the only way the island can protect itself its values, and its mineral wealth is by abandoning weak and miserly Danish overlords and turning instead to the muscular and protective embrace of the U.S. While Vance ruled out the possibility of military force, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth seems to suggest otherwise when he told a congressional hearing in June that the Pentagon had contingency plans. What that means is, of course, open to multiple interpretations. However, Stephen Miller's interview with CNN can give us a hint on what it means by contingency plans. When asked about concerns for Danish sovereignty and the prospects of military force, Miller noted that you can talk all you want about international niceties and everything else, but we live in a world. In the real world that is governed by strength, that is governed by force, that is governed by power, and nobody is going to fight the United States militarily over the future of Greenland. Whether these actions resonate with Washington's foreign policy of allowing countries to determine their own fate is something we will wait and see how it unfolds. Melinda Herring, a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council's Eurasia Center, spoke to Al Jazeera suggesting that 85% of the people in Greenland do not want to be part of the United States, implying that U.S. intervention in the affairs of the island would upend that principle. This came after Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry, whom Trump had appointed as U.S. Special Envoy to Greenland, said he was not interested in talking to people in Denmark or European diplomats over Greenland. Instead, he said he wanted to have conversations directly with residents of Greenland, especially those who want an opportunity to improve the quality of life in Greenland. These actions have not been received well by Denmark and other NATO allies. Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen warned that any effort to take over Greenland would spell the end of NATO. NATO's goal is to guarantee peace and security in Europe and North America. According to its principle of collective defense, an attack against one ally is considered as an attack against all allies. What this means is that no single member country is forced to rely solely on its national capabilities to meet its essential national security objectives. All NATO decisions are made by consensus, meaning that all member countries have reached agreement after discussion and consultation. Remember that Denmark is one of NATO's founding members in addition to Belgium, Canada, France, Iceland, Italy, the Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, the UK, the US, and Luxembourg. So, based on this, it seems that Jeff Landry's remarks on talking directly to Greenland residents contradicts NATO's purpose, whereby decisions have to be taken based on consensus from all member states. NATO ally leaders from France, Germany, Italy, Poland, Spain, and Denmark have suggested that Greenland belongs to its people, and only Denmark and Greenland can decide on matters concerning their relations. Key questions that will unfold in the coming days is whether the U.S. will respect its pact with NATO and leave Greenland alone, and what NATO's member states will do in case the U.S. decides to take over Greenland, either through a consensus or use for military force.